All right. How's it going, everybody? Todd Medina, Soulogy Network. We're here at the Soul Convergence in Sedona. We're doing a collaboration with Awaken TV Network and Vibrational Empowerment Network. The next 4 hours, we're going to bring everything we can to you. Some healing, some activation, some conversations, some music, some improvisational stuff as well. We've got some friends here. Please share this among your pages and to your groups. This can be found, you can watch where it's being originated from at Vibrational Empowerment Network Facebook page. And that's in the body of all the text that where I've shared it to the different pages. So welcome everybody. We welcome your comments. We welcome your energy. And most of all, welcome to the front line of the apocalypse, the great revealing, because that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. We're real excited to be here. Like everything else we do, we just do it in the spontaneous, intuitive, creative, and imaginative, and depending on what we're doing, we're talking about courageous, the I Am Soul. This is a great honor and a pleasure to be here. We've got some beautiful friends here. We don't know what we're going to do, but whatever we do, it's going to come straight from the heart. And I think we might just give people a little time to come in right now. And my buddy Ty is going to play a little melody. We haven't rehearsed anything. He's a great musician, and I'm a halfway decent lyricist, so we're going to see what we can do. Yeah, that's good. Okay. This one's called Tightrope. It's what I call a soul speak. It's not rapping and it's sure not singing. I found a 0 point. It ain't no tightrope. It's miles and miles wide. All been tried, face inside, won't be denied. Soul fire's burning, now hope's turning, past believing to knowing. And hope just marks the ground between faith and doubt. God is God, sons, sons, daughters of the many moons, not one. I'm loving myself, I'm finding my way, and I'm finding my power. And as wisdom comes nearer, I ain't fighting dark, I'm shining light. Soul spark is always fear. I'm living intuitive, no longer blind, discerning my life. I'm running to my fears. Liberation's nearly here. It's a perfect paradox. Salvation's in the lies, the whys and the why nots. Death conquered demons, lay down in love. Angels release, always to return. I'm living to love. I'm loving to live. I'm empowered by this peace. I am holy and whole. Hallowed be my name. I am soul. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, everybody. We've got a few more people in the house, 40 people on the main page, but there's quite a few other people watching on our other platforms and channels. Do we have a list of those? You want me to announce those? No rush. No rush. We're good.
So we've got the Awake TV network. It should be live on
Awake TV network.
It's a go.
It's a go.
Let's go. Awesome.
Right on.
That one was a tricky one, but we got it. So we are live there. We're live on the Vibrational Empowerment Network Facebook page, Project Manifest YouTube page, Sedona Sonic Alchemy Facebook page, and Twitch, Project Manifest 11.
There you go. So we're going to have a couple of my friends come up here in a minute. If you guys are going to come up first, or whenever you want to come. I met these gentlemen 2 years ago as I was heading out of town. And when they talk about synchronicities, this is as about as synchronistic as you can get.
Yeah, we actually met in this building.
That's right. That's true. That's right. And I made it here 5 minutes before it started then, and 10 minutes before this.
We were about 5 minutes late.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how we keep retracing our steps.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it really is.
Up and up the spiral, yeah?
Yeah. It's like you come around and the energy's just a little bit more enhanced. Ty's been in Sedona for 6 years?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And these gentlemen have, along with some other collaborators, an office building, what would you call it?
Oh, we call it a Sound and Energy Healing Center.
Yeah, Sound and Energy Healing Center. Right next to the Sedona Bar and Grill, the old Sedona Bar and Grill. It's in the same parking lot. And by the way, for any of you who are in Sedona or even in Phoenix or anywhere within a couple hours, we're going to have a get-together there tomorrow night at 8 p.m. at the old Sedona Bar and Grill. And I think there's going to be quite a few people going.
I guess we won't be recording from the studio that night.
Well, it's right next door. We could do something. We could definitely use a remote camera.
We have to plan our recording sessions around the noise.
Pick up the bar.
Around the noise of the bar. So.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought you were talking about we couldn't record. Yeah, it's going to be loud over there tomorrow night. Hopefully they'll let us turn the karaoke on. Yeah, so let's just kind of talk about what's been going on recently. Right? I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually talked to you guys about it.
Yeah.
You know, we do this on Soul Speaks 5D. We talk about the current intel, current experiences. I mean, you've been a fixture here for 6 years. What's this year been like for you? I mean, it's changing rapidly based on what everybody else is telling me. But
It's been beautiful, you know. We knew this was coming. We knew that the collapse of the old had to come before the rebirth came.
yeah.
So the new energy starts in January. So I've been telling people about this summer for like 2 years. You know, like it was going to be interesting.
Are you surprised by what's happening?
No,
No?
no.
Better man than me.
I'm a little surprised, but I'm taking it one step at a time. So.
Yeah, but you're a classic example of what it's all about, right? Like, I'm coming up here today with my wife, and my car blows up. Mm-hmm. And I look at this, but I mean, this is kind of what's happening to me energetically for everybody. And what I'm getting at is it's an opportunity for expansion, for alchemic transformation.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is you've been an event coordinator, producer, musician, DJ. You've been involved in really music, spiritual for many, many years. Yeah. And so you had your whole year planned out, all your events, which were all localized, and then the quarantine came and you had to cancel everything.
Yeah.
But you transformed, you converted the setback into a comeback, and now you're...
Yeah, it's hard to think about it, but you look at it from the start to the start of when this all went down to where it is now, and I think a lot of us are in this position to where we can look at this as a gift.
Yeah.
It gave us a lot of space. I had events planned all around the world throughout the course of the year, and everything had to cancel. Basically all of our sessions at the studio canceled, all the different events, all the travel, no need for that anymore. So it was really this time to just kind of lock down and check in, and really fine tune this thing that Ty and I have been talking about for years. We've been talking about like building this network and expanding the reach to a global community as opposed to staying local. And with this expansion, we needed to learn and teach ourselves all the new software, the recording, getting the sound and vibrational healing, getting the frequencies dialed in on a recording level was a really difficult challenge, getting everything mic'd up and the right gear and the right combination of things to really get a high quality recording that transcends to the viewer wherever they're at, as opposed to needing to be present in the room itself. So it really gave us that time to dial everything in from a production standpoint and really kind of enable us to produce a high quality, almost ceremony type situation to people remotely. And so we creating the Vibrational Empowerment Network with that. Just basically we've been live for about a month, but it's been in the beta stage, and we just announced all the bundles and packages and everything today. So we're fully live as of this morning about 8 a.m.
Oh, it's D-Day.
D-Day. Well, we want to build it with the community.
Yeah.
We want to build it together so that all the community helps us down the path, and what they want to learn and what they want to listen to or explore.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. This year has been all about co-creation and collaboration, showing up with what you have, and no agendas. Agendas aren't working anymore. They're not supported anymore. So you've got an Awake TV network, you've got a Vibrational Empowerment network, you've got a Soulogy network. There's other networks popping up all over the world, and I see some type of alignment occurring. And I don't think anyone really has any directions on how this thing works, but that's the new energy, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, that's the new energy. New energies, you get put into a situation, and you create your way out. What do you think?
It's shareable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we put ourselves first, we have something to share.
There you go. Yeah. And you were talking about something yesterday when we were at your place, the giving and the receiving. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, a lot of the classes on the Vibrational Empowerment Network are about the shareable wave, which is a scientific term. And it basically is how nature works. Nature gives us nothing, it only shares. And to share, we must receive and put ourselves first, and then we have something to share, instead of living from bankruptcy and putting all of our energy out and then being hopeful that it's going to come back.
Yeah. Right on. So we're going to spend the next, we're going to spend about the next 30 minutes. We're going to have a couple more friends come up, and then we're going to spend the second hour with Awake TV network. And then the third hour, you guys are coming back in.
We're gonna bring. That's when Sarah's coming in. Sarah's coming in.
Yeah.
Sarah R. Adams will be in, and then Marga Samadi will be blessing us with some light language and some vocal. And then for the last hour, we'll be doing a Sedona Sonic Alchemy performance, which will be a sound journey, improvisational sound journey. So it'll be the four of us, Ty, myself, Marga, and our amazing sound engineer and percussionist Gabriel.
Yeah.
Will be in camera at some point. You might see his head popping in and out from time to time as well. So
I'm looking forward to that. I'll be breakdancing in the middle of the yoga study. Right on. So cool. That's the schedule. We're going to get our friends up here in just a second.
Awesome. And check us out online. It's the vibrationalempowerment.net, the Vibrational Empowerment Network. So
vibrationalempowerment.net.
yes.
Okay. And Vibrational Empowerment Network Facebook page, Awake TV Network Facebook page, and all the rest of them. So I wanted to say one thing while I had the floor, which we're talking about the recent events or the recent energies. And I made a joke a while ago. Did anybody have any major energetic experiences last night? And then you're saying it's every night. Welcome to Sedona. This has been the smoothest trip I've had to Sedona, and that includes with my car blowing up. So I'm not worried about it. But what I wanted to say is that there's been a lot of discussion, not just on Soul Speaks 5D, but people that I've run into, people that I've been observing on their own podcasts and their own shows, in regard to the extremes of the polar opposites, the polarities. That's been occurring particularly in the light worker community, because that's where most of us spend of our time, where we are here to embrace and enhance and expand unity consciousness through collaboration, through co-creation. And I think part of what I'm seeing happening, and this is not a negative toward anything or anyone, because everything is relative, but what I am seeing happening is some of the stuff that woke us up, the conspiratorial stuff, the disclosure stuff, what you were talking about earlier, the stuff that's coming to the surface that you knew was going to happen 2 years ago. This stuff has been coming out for quite some time. A lot of us woke up through the David Icks and so on. That information has been very useful. This is the great revealing. Everything has to come to the surface, as Sarah and I discussed when we did the show last week. It has to come to the surface so it can be seen and accepted and recognized and admitted that it's there. But what do we do with it? And what I'm getting at is I'm starting to see another frequency really gain momentum in the community, which is about service to self as being simultaneous and the same definition of service to the collective and service to humanity, all one and the same, when that's all in alignment. The self-empowerment part of it too, we're seeing a lot of practitioners that have come through Soulogy over the last year or year and a half that are transforming in their practice. They're starting to evolve their modalities, pick up new modalities, drop old modalities, and the focus being on the self-empowerment. They're showing people, they're opening the door for people, because we're moving into a frequency, or we're in a frequency or an energy now where everybody does it for themselves. I don't think the universe is going to let any of us off the hook there. We're all valiant souls. We all chose to come here. We probably had some misgivings from time to time, and we wanted to get out of here, but we're here now for the long run, and I don't want to go. I want to be here and watch this transformation and be a part of this transformation in any way that I can. I'm not interested personally in, for instance, Soulogy Network being the network. I don't think that what we're all getting into is going to look anything like we've seen in the old business paradigm. I think it's going to be a cooperative, a collaboration, and an ongoing 5D expansion that takes on elements and frequencies or combinations of frequencies that we've never seen before. So if it's been done before, it's probably not going to be utilized. And this is the beauty of what's happening. We've spent a lot of time on the shadow work and the inner work, and it's important. The zero pointing, it's all important. But there's also a universal energy out there that's supporting expansion. It's supporting creativity. It's supporting new initiatives, new ways of thinking. It's not charged. As you were talking about the charge yesterday, there's not a charge to it. It's coming from neutrality. It's coming from a 0 point. It's coming from service to self and equally service to the collective and to humanity. And it's gaining steam. And I'm seeing a lot more people talking about that and a lot less discussion on what's wrong. Okay? I think we all have heard enough. And this is my opinion. Let me just make that clear. But I think we've heard enough. We know, to use the old 3D terminology, we know what's wrong. We know what's going on out there. And how can we change this? And I think we're all starting to understand and embody that if we change ourselves, that's the highest and most efficient way we can serve the collective humanity and ourselves, is by, elevating and bringing ourselves into a higher trajectory of alignment each and every day, moment by moment. And it's happening. And it's exciting. And I'm really happy to be here, and I'm anxious to see not just tonight, but where we go from here, because the sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
You might have a neighbor. You might have a neighbor soon.
Nice.
You never know. But yeah.
You're welcome in Sedona anytime.
Yeah.
Well, this is my 5th or 6th time here, and the first 5, I think this is the 6th time. The first 5 were just peppered with interdimensional, dimensional, apparitional experiences, craziness,
And dragons.
Anubis, dragons, interdimensional shaman at the stupa, just so many different things. But it's a powerful, powerful place, and I feel like there's a strong calling here. There's an amazing number of people that are actually coming here from out of state and out of town this last couple of weeks of the month.
Yeah.
Every time I open up social media, I see 2 or 3 more people coming in. I know about 3 or 4 people that rolled in last night.
It's a soul convergence, one might say.
That's right. I like that name, by the way. Soul Convergence. Anything that has soul in it, I like.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring a couple of friends up here. Huh?
Can we bring Marga up real quick? And
Yes, absolutely. Who?
Marga?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, cool.
bring her.
All right, Marga?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Cool, and then that way she can get out and come
We
back
just,
for her.
there's no rush, there's no order either.
Cool.
There's nothing sequential about this. We just do what we got to do. How you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
What's happening?
Hey.
They put us up here together.
I know. Let's see what's going to happen from.
Are you going to do light language?
Probably not now. We're going to do it after.
Oh, you're going to do the light language after this. Yeah. Are you from Sedona?
No, I'm from France. I live here though.
You're from France. Wow. Parlez-vous français?
Right?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I know. So yeah. So how long have you been in Sedona?
This is my 2nd year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I left France in 2012 and started traveling the world, and end up in Sedona. And
You don't even have an accent.
it's there when I'm tired.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's just like my Texan accent. I get that way.
Oh yeah.
Get lazy. Start talking like a Southern redneck. So and why did you pick Sedona? You were just traveling around and then you came across Sedona and you decided you're going to stay?
Well, you probably know about it. Sedona calls you from far away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I came here from my way to Costa Rica. I was driving my van back then, and Sedona was really, really strongly calling my name
Wow.
and my essence. And I think we're all converging together, soul convergence. And Sedona is such a magical place that she knows who is supposed to be here at this moment. And our energy is creating this beautiful portal for the whole collective.
Right.
And so when she calls you, she calls you. You cannot deny Sedona call. And she can call you from very far away. I was in India and she called me all the way back.
Wow, you have been all over the world.
Pretty much.
So are you going to stick here, you think?
I am here, yeah.
Yeah.
I still travel a lot and sharing my medicine around the world. But for here, it's now, it's here, it's needed.
Yeah.
And we get to work together, and by being together, we really create such impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you a practitioner?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of energy work do you do?
Multi-dimensional work.
Oh yeah, you got a multi-dimensional toolkit, right?
It's right there. I have a studio here called Sedona Energy and Sound Healing. So it's energy and sound healing, and I work with light language,
Okay.
galactic activations. I have this beautiful program called Awaken Light Body Program. And it's a program to awaken the light within yourself, working with sacred geometry, diamond shape, the Merkaba, the flower of life. And it's mostly here to awaken star seeds and light workers to their fullest potential,
Yeah.
being an awakening guide and coach.
Yeah.
And I'm here to really, really empower all of us to finally awaken to our gifts so we can truly start doing the work.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much anything that needs to be done.
How long have you been doing this?
My whole life.
You have.
Yeah, I
And
was
there-
activated light language when I was 8.
Is that right? And you're what, like 19?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 11 years you've been.
I like this compliment.
So eight years old. Was it like running in your family or anything, or did you just start doing light language? What were your parents
It's
doing?
definitely not in the family. I mean, it is.
Were your parents like looking at you going, "What are you doing?"
They probably did at first.
Yeah.
I was lucky that I had a very encouraging family. I was not in France. You don't talk about spirituality. It's really taboo. So that's kind
Really?
of why I left
Wow.
back then. And
Yeah.
so it was speaking light language was considered as demonic, and I was not allowed to speak it outside of the home. And so that's kind of why I started traveling around the world to start meeting my star family
Wow.
and realizing I'm not the only one speaking this language.
Right.
And that we all do. It's all inside.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I think there's a lot more people speaking light language than
That we know.
I think there's millions. There's you know, it's, and I've talked to a lot of people on the show that were doing it 10 years ago and, you know, 15 years ago, and they're amazed at how many people are doing it. I mean, it's what do you think light language is?
Yeah, it's the light within yourself.
Yeah.
It's the connection to the light, to the universal light. And so when we speak the light language, we are in complete channel of God, universe.
Yeah.
And so it's your own individual frequency that you speak.
Yeah.
And it takes to really reprogram the mental state, to the heart state. And so when we think with the head light language, it's not, the channel's not going to go through. When we really open the heart, then we are just channel.
Yeah.
We are just light. And so we all speak that language, but it takes practice.
Yeah.
It's like playing a guitar. I'm not going to get the guitar and just start playing like Jimi Hendrix right away, right? I need to learn every chord, how it sounds, and then I start creating my melody. And so light language is a practice. Every day you sit with yourself, you let any sound come out. However it is perfect. There's no more judgment of the three-dimensional mind, right? It is the full acceptance of self.
Yeah.
And if you start doing that, your life really starts evolving in perfect harmony because you realize the freedom of yourself. And the more you channel light language, the more you heal within yourself and outside of yourself because you channel light in and put it out.
Yeah.
And so you are a constant conduit of light. And so everything and everyone around you is healed by that light,
Yeah.
which is the universal light, which is your light and my light, and it's all that one light.
Yeah. The you, me, we, and it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's far out.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to hear that a little bit later when we play the
I
music.
think it's at 7:30. We
Yeah.
have a 15-minute kind of light language activation.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'll be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, cool.
Beautiful.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Such a pleasure to
Yeah.
meet you too.
Looking
Thank
forward
you for
to
being here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah. No, of course not.
Next time I'll be hitchhiking on the way up here, though.
Don't worry,
I'll
universe
get
got
it.
your back.
I know it
got
does.
your
I
back.
saw it when it happened. I was just like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a premonition, and then I told my wife, and she goes, "Well, I had one too." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?"
Oh.
We would have been, but yeah, it could have been worse. Could have been worse. Could have happened halfway between here and Arkansas,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of middle of nowheres between here and Arkansas.
Right. In between.
So this is very cool. Now, are you in the building with Jade and Ty?
I am not.
Okay,
no.
I didn't know.
I do come there often,
Yeah.
but I am not
Okay.
based there.
So
No.
you're
Yeah.
like the
I have my own private space. I like to work
Yeah.
in my own container.
yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
Beautiful.
I look forward to the light language.
Yes.
I love the explanation because it's like it is from the heart. You can't have your head in it. It's a lot like other creative, expressions.
Totally.
Like
It's
freestyling.
a free flow.
Yeah,
You're being.
yeah.
And the mind will speak in the background.
Yeah.
When you speak light
Yeah.
language, the mind will keep on speaking. What are you saying? This is ridiculous. You just said the same phrase, the same sound. No, it doesn't work. But the
Yeah.
more you keep on talking, you're reprogramming yourself every
Yeah.
single time.
It's a spiritual confidence.
Exactly.
The first time I ever did anything like light language was in Sedona, the first time I came, and I was in the village of Oak Creek, and I borrowed a friend's car, and I was coming up to Sedona to meet a friend, Shekinah Rose, at the chocolate tree, whatever it's called. And as I was coming up 179, looking at all the structures, I just started going off.
Yeah.
But nobody was with me, so that was easy. Then when you try to do it with someone present, it's a little bit different. But you're right. It's a total surrender, letting go, take the mind out of it,
Yeah.
like other creative expressions.
Totally.
Really.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
self-acceptance, compassion,
Yeah.
patience.
Yeah.
Start on your own in your room every day, right? Until you feel confident. And maybe you might not feel confident, but you push your boundaries. You get out of your comfort zone, and that will really show you that you are capable.
You never know when you're going to run into somebody and have a conversation in light
Exactly.
language. The night I met Jade, which was the last night I was in Sedona, the first time I came, was his first night here. And we went to the place that we're going to be having the meetup tomorrow, Sedona Bar and Grill. And we were with a friend of ours, Shakara Tosh, and she does kind of a melody. She does different types of star language. So we were sitting there talking, and she started doing this kind of jazzy light language thing, right? Really cool. And there was this guy that was like standing over there at the wall, and he started doing opera like an operatic light language, and she was doing like a scat jazz, and it was real.
Wow.
And it went on. He walked over, and they just kept going. They never said, "Hello, how are you? My name's such and such."
No.
They just kept doing it, and that's cool.
That's the reality of things.
Yeah, because I mean that carries a lot of code. People get activated by it.
Yeah, it completely lets go of humanness. There's no time, there's no space, there's no name, there's no faces. We get to communicate with everything that is existing at this moment. Light language is communicating with every energy.
Yeah.
And so it really doesn't matter where you come from. If I didn't speak English, we would probably not be able to communicate. But with light language, we can because we feel each other.
True. That's true. Yeah.
And so you get to start speaking it, and then you start to see that more people do speak it too.
I think it's going to be a nice transition. We'll go from speaking words to light language to saying nothing. I don't think we'll have to say
and
anything.
then we'll be silent and we'll be just one.
So I've got two friends over here
Beautiful.
that are going to be moving here permanently to Sedona, William and Kalina, and they both are active practitioners. I've had them on the show, and the last time, right in the middle of the conversation, William started doing light language, and I understood what he was saying. And so that's the kind of thing that happens. My wife does it. She doesn't do it publicly, but whenever she does it, I understand what she's saying.
Totally.
Yeah, usually there's some kind of ritual involved, and it's always really interesting. Some of the things that I'm told to do.
I know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Then we don't really need to make choices. We are guided constantly.
Yeah. It's kind of like after you do it all, you're like, did I just do that? Or did I just say that? You know?
And all your worries, all your doubts, all the questions are gone. It just brings you back to this presence of the heart.
Right on.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Beautiful.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. So, Kalina and William, you guys want to come up?
Yes.
And share some space with me? How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're good. All right. We're good? Okay. All right, it's 14 till the hour, so I'll go like another 25 minutes. Okay, then we'll fade into... So, these are my friends, Kalina and William. They have a really special story. William is from the Netherlands.
Yes.
And Kalina's from the States. We've had them on the show, I know more than once, and anyway, you went back to Europe.
Yes.
And then you were quarantined, and 2 weeks ago you were reunited?
Yes.
He was quarantined in March. Well, that's when they wouldn't let him come back in.
Yeah.
I came back, but he had to stay.
17 March. We came back from Scotland to do some light work. We had a beautiful experience over there. We came back and I came to the Dutch Marshalsea. It's like the home security. And I asked, well, I don't think that I can go back to the States. And I sneezed a little bit. That was a joke, of course.
Yeah, I think that was a good joke.
Yeah, well, I looked them into the eyes and I saw it in the face that it was like that they a little bit knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So, of course, I take that serious, and they asked me if Kalina would stay. And I said no, we're going to stay one night in a hotel, and then the next day she will fly back.
Wow.
And that happened, and then there was a departure. And for me, in that moment, what happened, if I look back now to my life, it was a synchronicity that came back. So the things that were in my subconsciousness repeated itself in that time and space reflection.
Yeah.
That was beautiful and also not. But because that I knew what was going on, that it was a reflection and guided, I knew everything was perfect in that moment.
Yeah. Are y'all going to start whispering sweet nothings into each other's ear? Do I need to leave? Get a hotel. Get a room. Get a room. No, I'm
We
kidding.
always turn you on, don't we?
So, yeah, and so obviously you met online, right? You met,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Oh.
He found me.
Well, that's how my wife and I met. I stalked my wife too.
It's
So I
the
told her.
energy thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And these types of stories are happening all over the world now. And it's not necessarily, I mean, we have couples, friends of ours that are in the divine union, that are same-sex couples. This is an energy that's starting to really take hold around the world in a kind of a under the radar way. And I know you guys have had some deep experiences. I know that because we've talked about it. Was it difficult when he was over there?
No.
No, you handled it well, didn't you?
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was. I had my own
You had a
space.
little more trouble with it, didn't you?
Well,
I mean, I know you accepted it, but you're human, did it?
in one way I was free,
Yeah.
and I felt very strong, but I still was in confusion what I felt in my projections,
Yeah.
especially in my past experiences as a man. That's a different
Yeah.
way of experience to reach in that way enlightenment, because in that way I didn't know what I felt, and still
Yeah.
I'm searching for that. So the projections on, for me especially, other ladies was confusing for me, and also in the reflection that came back to figure out or to see or to
Yeah.
observe more what was being reflected. And even today in this moment it's happening.
Wow. You were a brave man, that's all I can say.
Well, thanks.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing. Everything's on the surface, right?
It's all coming up.
Everything's put out on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
To say about that a little bit about our connection, I had a beautiful lady, an ex of mine, and I had a very intense experience with her in our relationship, and we separated. And then after that, she married with a man with the last name Molnar.
yeah.
And when I saw Kalina's last name Molnar, I was like, hey, what's going on? So
The universe winked at you.
Yeah. I saw also her face and I recognized her because in that way in my life, two archetypical ladies came forth in my life, and I invited her, and in the first time she didn't respond, so I thought probably she's feeling me, etc.
I didn't see your
No, of course
whatever
not.
it is request.
So that was my own interpretation of that. And the third time she accepted me,
Mm.
and then she asked me like, you have an interesting middle name, and that was Sananda
Mm.
Kumara in that way. Yeah, and we connected, and then it started flowing. And she invited me also guided to come to the States.
Mhm.
Well, I drew him.
You're bold.
I drew him. Sketched him in 2014.
Is that right?
Intuitive higher self sketched him, and then 2017 I painted him.
Wow.
And then when he friended me in 2019, and I looked at his picture closely the next day, I was like, oh my God, that's my drawing and my painting.
That's when you knew you were screwed.
That's when I put it next to him. I was like, uh-oh. It's like, oh,
So
no.
when you guys were apart, did you connect etherically?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do it when you were both conscious of it, intending to, or was it done like?
You mean before we met?
Well, well,
after?
any time that you were apart, did you connect etherically, and if so, were you doing it intentionally together, consciously, or did it happen?
I'm conscious of it,
Yeah.
but he always says he's not.
Yes.
So it's different
Yeah,
for us. But I can consciously take myself right to him
yeah,
and just be right next to him. But he just knows if I'm there, he can feel my energy.
yeah.
Same as, I felt his energy since I was 14.
Wow.
So 37 years later,
Yeah.
I met him, and that was the energy I've been feeling my whole life. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Fascinating. Now you guys have something you want to do?
Yeah, I'm a light language DNA key code activator, so I activate people to speak light language, but we're
Okay.
both multi-dimensional quantum energy healers as well. So
Okay.
we allow what's going to come through from source right away.
Okay.
And we've both been getting downloads, so
You
we're just going to let it flow.
Yes, let it flow. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
there might be some tones and stuff that might
Yeah.
make a little,
Am I okay here? Do you want me to-
Yes.
Okay. All right.
because you're going to receive it too.
Oh, I'm going to receive it.
Yeah. Just be open to receive.
I'm an open, yes.
I know, you're an
open
open book.
channel. No
I know
problem.
you are. Yes. Open hearts. Atiana krosanto poshunda marikin diana sus. Naitans. I'm actually feeling people with solar plexus stuff who are listening already. Itano krosanto nashi sintanoya hanumiane. Santiana shush neamoturia nana hikina surya maya a. Niana 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 niana. How maniana niana niana niana. How namoy. Soturia nana niana. Yana Shanyas umuras maya.
Tiaturin ja nuurita tasin, tiatukuurdaka isianta. Ja nuurdaka tisumpu upaati, ininurjanti sisantaka. Everybody's becoming and is one with first source of all creation. God, God is spirit, the Godhead and the God force of all that is, the great I am presence. I call on forth the spiritual, cosmic, and planetary hierarchy, all the angels, archangels, and the light masters, and the ETs of the light. Feel their love, their embrace, their grace, and their oneness, now coming down upon you, through you, into the core of Mother Earth, the golden sun, the Melchizedek sun, the Father within the Mother. You're now connecting with Father, Son, and the Mother within the Father. Feel the golden light coming down upon you, through you, into the core of Mother Earth. Mother Earth is responding with her love and light and grace, moves up with her golden light, and takes away all the things that is not needed anymore in this moment of now. I'm asking the Divine Father and the Divine Mother to open our hearts. More light, more light, more light. Light expand, light expand, light expand. Light I am, light I am, light I am. Kiaturian tishin takati atu urian naninda uria takasashin. Uri tindurian tishin tukuta apai ayurduku susuntata. Aishunuri hinnatu ain takata. Abundi bismaya. Amin.
Yeah, boss.
Titiuria tasantiotu uriani anuria takatasi shunku paati. Ninurian nintu sutapatai anuria taka ishintu urinti aninaka. Blessings to all. This is the great resurrection of the light that I have been foretold in the great expansion of Mother Earth. We are the one, and so it is. Amen.
And so it is.
Tiamos.
Wow. Thank you. Very powerful.
Thank you.
I'm vibrating in my chair over here.
Me too.
We're always vibrating, aren't we?
I thought somebody stuck something under the chair.
It's
That was
a good
beautiful.
vibration.
I'm so happy that we were able to connect, and you both were kind enough to share your energy with us. And so
Thank you.
this is be the first of many times,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, and Morgan will be,
Yeah, we'll see.
she'll be with us tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see her. And we'll see you guys here because I already know that you're going to be here.
Yeah, it's possible.
I see it.
Anything's possible. You got to stay open. That's another rule of the road I think we're all learning. The minute you throw an absolute down with the universe will have a nice little experience for you.
Yeah.
You got to stay open to all aspects, right?
That's right.
Especially in this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let me just ask you a couple more questions before I let you go. But so when you guys met, like what you just did right now, this collaboration, merging the energies, I don't have to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it just for the clarity. You didn't rehearse any of this. You just started doing this, and then it became something that you offered, at times you offered together for clients or for an audience such as this.
I've been doing events all over the globe on my own. I do Sisters of the Rose priestess initiations and activations and all kinds of things, hold divine feminine gatherings. And when I met William, I knew right away, within just a few days, that we were supposed to be doing stuff together. And then I got the download, and I asked him, and I remember he started crying, because I asked him if he wanted to come and do an event in Shasta with me. And I ended up going to Netherlands first for Sisters of the Rose event I was doing there, and he joined me there. So we've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all been guided through spirit, and for me in my life, spirit spoke through many people in that way.
Yeah.
So in that way, when Kalina and I connected, and that was immediately actually a direct connection through spirit, what I really realized in that moment. So my ego in that moment was completely gone. I could not say and think anymore, even my own feelings in that moment, I could not feel them in that moment. Only one thing was left, and is surrender.
Yeah.
Acceptance completely.
Yeah.
And the time where we are now being in is also my vision that I had when I was 3 years old. And it's the activation of the light body, the expansion and of the light.
Wow.
And this great transition is for me, because I've been through a lot of changes already, to get into the new energy, because the new energy is really surrendering to the heart, and everything will come to you.
Yeah.
And you don't have any control, and by that, when you're one with your soul again, you will have complete control. But then in the knowingness that the will of God, God the Spirit, is the will of love and compassion. Ki turyanin tu sotati, atu urda antianian tu kuanta, ishin a.
Manura.
Yeah. I'm trying to not say anything because I don't know what's going to come out.
Well, it's every time it's triggering in me, and then it comes.
Yeah.
I want to hear you speak, Todd.
Sometime.
Sometime,
not today.
No.
Maybe today. Maybe
I always
today.
put you on the
but
spot.
not-
Contornia, man.
but we'll see, we'll see. We'll see. Well, I have a few times on the camera, but yeah, that's. Yeah.
Mama Ita.
And sometimes with Morgan, yeah. And you just get possessed and
Yeah.
start doing stuff. I remember the first time I think the first time I actually did it, we were in Hawaii, and she was, I don't know, I was just told, go do this. I don't do healing.
Is that when we passed?
Huh?
We passed in Sedona and then we passed in Hawaii. Is that when
Did
you
we
did it?
pass in Hawaii?
Yeah, I think by one day we passed in
Is that
Hawaii.
right? I didn't know
I
that.
think
Yeah,
I
it was there. We were there in 2019. But
Yeah.
but it's like she was saying that it just comes over you and you just know what to do. I was supposed to like run my hands up and down and say a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
and you know.
We just let it flow.
Yeah. I'm into the freestyling stuff, but
Yeah, that's
I like the
also
stuff that
surrendering.
rhymes. You know,
Yeah, that's surrendering also, you know.
the conscious rap stuff. That's my light
Not just
language.
rap.
That's my light language. Yeah.
It's the it's the language of the new earth, though. I got
Yeah.
to download it. I
Yeah.
was just interviewed about that, and what they said is it is the language of the new earth.
Yeah.
So the more people we can activate, I've activated thousands of people, so the more people we can activate just by doing things like this, the better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a physical representation of the energetics. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's the real
Deal.
contagion, right?
Yeah.
It's the real. I was going to say virus, but I'll say antivirus.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is the energy that we're passing along. Just like even in this room, everybody here is picking up code from each other.
It's proven in this moment that when light language is spoken, it goes in a deeper dormant of the DNA, the cells. So the cells literally light up. And
That's what's vibrating on my chair.
yeah.
Yeah, it goes through the DNA at the cellular level, and I literally see like a shell over the cells, and it like literally cracks this, and they start to expand. So anything that's suppressed or dormant.
Yeah.
So that's what the keys and the codes do. And it's also, it helps people with self-healing.
Yeah.
The more they speak it,
Yeah.
and take it out to Gaia and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And beautiful is that everybody is now actually in the cocoon. Cocoon?
What is it?
You got it.
Cocoon, yeah.
Cocoon.
Everybody has to go inside, and that's a big transformation. So when we are ready with this, then we're going to fly like butterflies.
There you go.
And that's the light body.
Yeah.
And I've been one time in that body, and then you really feel and experience Christ or God within you. That's for everybody in one point of time and space, in the moment of now.
Yeah.
And wow.
Yeah, we've had some. Well, you know, living with Morgan, you have experiences every day, basically. But recently, there's been I guess a higher evolution in our merging, and so I know she's been able to see the light bodies for many years. The time we've been together, I've been able to see it off and on, but not really like she can. But recently, that's kind of changed. Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
I've seen our light bodies. I told you about this. I saw my feminine and her masculine. That was one of the things. But what I was amazed at was how big they were.
Yeah.
They're huge. Like their hands are like, they look like, you know, that big. They look like,
Depends on
Like
which
avatars.
dimension.
Like
Yeah.
avatars.
Yeah.
I just recently, when I was finished doing some work on the earth, I was all blue.
Yeah.
I had no human form. It was all just light, blue light, and I was like, oh, this is a new one.
so you're an ET as well. As
Of
Morgan.
course, we're all ETs.
Morgan tells me last night, I think I'm an alien. I said, no, I tell everybody, you're an ET. I'm married to an ET.
Ultra terrestrial.
Ultra terrestrial is
Above
the new
ET.
one.
Ultra, there you go. It's like the modern Bewitched, you know?
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like it's
Yeah,
a
we don't need
multi-dimensional galactic partner.
We don't need brooms, we need Merkaba.
That's right. Well, I'm glad you guys came. I'm honored that you came, and it was an honor.
It was an honor to be here.
And
This
also-
one.
Likewise.
This is not a mistake. There's no coincidences. So the
God
fact
doesn't- God doesn't make mistakes.
that's right. That's right.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, both of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, so we're going to move into the next phase, which is going to be our beautiful, beloved sisters from Awake TV Network. They are part of a really exciting network that's just getting some ground. Come on up. Yes. Come on up. Ashley Lee and Marguerite.
Yes,
Come on up.
excellent.
It's a pleasure to have y'all here.
It is a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for everything and your hospitality and everything.
It is our ultimate pleasure.
So you guys are part of Awake TV Network,
Yes.
and which is composed of a lot of different shows, right?
There's over 1,600 TV shows that are in our library.
1,600.
Yes.
So these are like archives.
Yes.
So
they're
like
archives.
ongoing shows.
Correct.
You have
correct.
how many shows?
Oh,
They're like
There's numerous shows in all different realities
Yeah.
of all different international hosts from around the world,
Yeah.
bringing in their specialties, their creative, from metaphysical to health and wellness to environmentalism to parenting. And so there are live shows, and then they are archived into the library of resources and tools, all under the conscious media program of raising the vibration of
Yeah,
our
I've checked it out. It's pretty substantial.
It is, and it's growing. It's
Yeah.
growing exponentially.
Yeah.
talk about expansion.
Yeah, it's strong,
Yes.
no doubt about it. And then you both have a show on the network, right?
We do right now.
Yes.
Mine is a collaboration with another healer called Leap of Consciousness.
Mhm.
And we are writing a book and have several different avenues in which we share with our world out here about how we have consciousness challenges, also known as integrity problems, all kinds of problems that we see in our lives. And we have the opportunity to resolve them in the moment,
Yeah.
really bringing the energy to that 0 point right there. And then the opportunity from that is to embody an empowered state of being.
So, well, I'm not going to forget you.
Oh,
'cause
I didn't
wanna-
think you would.
But I got to hit her on this because this is good.
Yes.
So you're talking about addressing something when it occurs,
When it occurs,
rather than letting it like the old way.
conscious awareness in the moment.
So can you give me an example, just
Well, there's lots of examples, right? So I help children and families with conscious relating or energetic relating, and in that energetic relating, there's the concept of me and you, and if me is having a bad time with you, then that energy between, that real estate in between, gets discordant or challenged. And in that challenge, how would we like to rectify that? How would we like to support that so that we come back to our true state, our true nature of love, and then express from that space
Wow.
instead of the space of conflict?
So you're dealing with the space in between these two individuals.
Yeah, or
Which
an
is-
individual and groups,
Okay,
or groups
okay.
to the individual.
Right.
However, who's who in the zoo and how it's passed around.
Wow. And you're a nurse.
I'm a
too.
nurse
So and this is
transformed to a pediatric energy healer.
Wow.
Well, I always was one.
Have you ever heard that name used by anyone else?
Who?
Pediatric energy healer.
Not yet.
There you go.
There
So
you
you're-
go.
So you're breaking the mold.
I'm breaking them all.
There you go.
Yeah.
And now your show. What's your show about?
My show is called Conscious Global Leadership.
Okay.
And
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
And so this is bringing awareness into the invitation to cultivate new opportunities inside of corporations, organizations, the business world
Yeah.
of creating new realities.
Wow.
Because we're rebuilding, right?
Yeah.
We're rebuilding, just as you shared from the beginning. We know that there's a new paradigm.
That's right.
And in that new paradigm, inside of that exists company. Let's call it company,
Yeah.
business. And so how are we navigating this
Yeah.
new space?
That's a very good question because
right.
every time, and like even talking to Jade and other people, and even with the several different initiatives we've had at Soulogy, it's like if you can't structure it, you can't control it, you can't have a 5-year plan. You can't. I mean, it's like any of that stuff gets applied, it just crumbles.
Which we're seeing, right?
That's right.
And so as you shared, and I love that you opened up with that, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll park that.
Yeah.
We'll put it right here.
Yeah.
And we get to invite in new modalities.
Yeah.
We get to create from where? From here.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to create new spaces. And in leadership, so we were speaking on the way over here, that a leader is taking you across the bridge, inviting you to come across the bridge with where we all haven't been before, right?
Right.
So we're leading into this new space that we haven't all been before, and we're creating from conscious choice instead of from 5-year plan and from force
Yeah.
and sure will and
Yeah.
make it, push it. And
So there's no future projection, there's no past attachment, you're in the present, kind of like what you're talking about. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Well, I think we're all working on the same
Addressing
thing, aren't we?
It's absolutely, it's very much the same. It is the same, and it's in a different setting.
Yeah.
That's all. It's in a different setting of what we would call a business context,
Right.
a client relationship context, leadership visionary team context.
Yeah.
And so we can bring in new ways of being, and we don't quite know what that would be, yet we can create that moment by moment. We certainly know that we want to create it from a place of heart, from a place of inner knowing, who's in our inner boardroom, who's driving the show? Who's sitting in this seat right here? Is it everyone else around that dictates the 5-year plan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ouch. No, we can bench that. Thank you for that. But that doesn't mean that that gets to dictate where we are in this very moment.
Right.
So it's,
Far out.
yeah.
Now, you were in nursing,
Yes.
so I can see how that would have evolved, right?
Well, actually, it really evolved from healing, being born with asthma and allergies.
Okay.
And
So self-healing?
self-healing. Well, I had some support from a nurse friend who knew how to remediate allergies through a chiropractic energetic process. And I literally felt it leave my body without doing really any of the inner work, quite honestly.
Wow.
And it physically left my body and I walked into present time. And then all of a sudden, all of practitioners, people, events, resources started coming into my vision and the process and inviting me in.
How long ago was this?
10 years ago.
So you had a kind of a manipulation, alignment,
Yes.
chiropractic type of alignment,
Yes.
Reiki slash Reiki something.
Advanced allergy therapeutics, a process where it sends digital signatures to your body. You muscle test
through
it.
the touch of the practitioner.
Yeah, well, through your computer. The body reads digital information.
Okay.
And so when you send the electronic signature of grass and the practitioner muscle tests to determine whether your body's weak or not.
So
Then they use it.
everything has a signature, just like we all have a signature, soul
Everything.
signature. They've been able to capture that.
In a
then
computerized program.
They communicate that to the body,
Correct.
and then the body.
And then,
Let you know.
a chiropractor
Yeah.
taps on your back,
Okay.
and most allergens were found to be based inside the autonomic nervous system from a physical aspect
Which is in the spine.
in the spine.
Yeah.
So you tap on the spine and it disconnects the allergy or the inflammatory process.
Now, are you doing this full time now? Are you out of the old?
I'm also in the cardiovascular ICU in the Children's Hospital in
Okay,
San
so
Diego.
you're still walking in
And
both worlds.
walking in both
Well,
worlds.
You're
Bridging both worlds.
bridging both worlds.
Yes.
Far out. And how about you? Have you worked with? Are you starting to work with companies? Is-
So I've worked with companies, I worked inside of companies
Mhm.
for a little over 25 years. So was able to, I'm bringing forth that with which was amazing playground and study field of the human condition. So that 25 plus years now brings me forward to working with in my own creations. They're not my own, they're all of our creations. So I am actually bringing forward conscious global leadership in my own creations and then inside of Awake TV network.
Okay, and that's the thing about Awake TV. It seems like that there's you're kind of bleeding over into each other. You're merging with each other, almost like a flower of life thing, right? Like, so is it some of the principles that you're espousing are occurring in Awake TV Network's organization?
You absolutely shared it. Yes, what we are literally doing just recently, which is extremely exciting, is that we are literally branching open, wide open, cracking heart space, cracking wide open, to developing these new branches of Awake TV that are conscious global leadership, that are branch of, we just named it today, right?
We did.
Yes.
The heart of the children.
Right. And what this is doing is it's bringing all of this conversation, all of these conversations that we've already had weaving into the support of the child and family, the support of a team inside of what an audience that we have inside of a team, inside of a company, the hundreds of thousands of people that we have an audience inside of that to grow something different, to shape shift into a new conscious reality and to guide that and to provide supportive programs and modalities inside of this.
Yeah, I was watching a video, and it was a doctor, and the doctor was talking about, obviously he was talking about COVID, and what he was saying was it was going on in a particular country. I think it was Australia, Victoria, and he was basically saying that certain decisions weren't being made through a process that's utilized in the medical community, which I had never heard of. So if I'm a doctor and I have a serious situation happen with a patient, their practice is to go talk to 6 or 7 of their colleagues and throw everything on the table and kind of use, by consensus, come up with the best plan.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, that's really cool. I didn't know doctors did that, you know? So if I look at what you're doing and what you're talking about, and I think because I had a history in the corporate world, and you know, and there's either myself or who I worked for or who worked for me had a certain amount of autonomy where they called the shots. And this is a different kind of situation. This is a situation, I mean, is that what to you a 5D business looks like? Is where there's a lot of discussion, like think tank type discussion?
Absolutely. And deepening that just a titch. But yes, absolutely. And in corporate, we've had what we call team. Yet, I believe the reality of that is that there's still a lot of congestion inside of the self that doesn't allow for authentic communication, authentic connection with trust, authenticity inside of team.
Right.
So those constructs are there. We can fling around those terms, yet this is, as you shared, a collaboration in consensus.
Yeah.
In heart-centered consensus, in consensus that benches the ego, but learning how to bench the ego, so that way we really are hearing, ear to ear, heart to heart, so that way our collaboration is authentic, and we don't impede our progress or our profitability.
And so basically, like it's like you said, and you said, but you're basically applying what we're all doing into a particular vocation or a particular field.
Yes.
Correct.
And are you getting any type of, are you resonating with your colleagues? Are there other people doing what you're doing, at least, you know, in a similar fashion where they're applying the transformational abilities that we're expanding into their field? I mean, are you getting any?
So some are at the level that I'm doing, and then many are all throughout Western medicine or allopathic medicine. We've redesigned, we're not using pharmaceuticals the same way, we're not looking at laboratory tests the same way, we're developing team cohesiveness, we're bringing in the patient and the family to actually discern how to deliver the care and how that care is taken responsibly then even out of the patient setting in the hospital. So a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity has been occurring in all sectors of wellness and health.
This is very encouraging to hear that it's actually being applied, what we're doing being applied into, you know, vocational fields.
Yes.
What about you? Have you gotten a lot of, other than Awake TV Network,
Yes.
because I know that's a lot of like-minded people.
Yes.
Have you resonated with other people? Are they open to what you're having to say?
You know, there's a spectrum. There's a spectrum.
Sure.
And there are other workers in this. There are other companies that are doing conscious global leadership and that are on a spectrum of what their specialty is inside of that. Right? And so I believe that that's growing also. So it's growing in the ear, it's growing in the heart, it's growing in, say, even popularity. It's like, oh, you too? And so it's growing. And the difference is that we can continue to expand that with going deeper with it. So it's not just a buzzword, because that can happen, and that's okay. But we want to expand it deeper than the buzzwords of conscious global leadership. What does it actually mean to make transformational shifts and not simply just take information in, but truly from here, from me first. And as I clean up me, I invite you automatically, my team, there's a ripple effect that happens across the world by me changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's the same recipe, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Just applied in these different
Right.
genres of our society.
Right. So how long has Awake TV Network been in existence?
We birthed November 11th, 2019. So
You birthed November 11, 2019.
yes, just under a year.
And you have how many shows?
We have started with TV hosts
Yeah.
and teachers and practitioners and other people that are bringing forward their giftedness to the world and sharing that in an opportunity for people to see other modalities, other options.
I remember this now.
Isn't it amazing?
I remember this because I was in, where was I? This, the lady that's coming.
Right.
Lady Masters.
Yes, Amanda Masters.
Yeah,
the
she
CEO.
sent me we exchanged messages.
Yes.
I think before I even met you.
Could be.
Yeah, I think before I even met you. And it was just about, in fact, I remember going to it and there wasn't a lot of archives. There was mostly kind of like
Right.
bios.
We built it all since November.
Yeah, yeah. So that's fascinating.
And then, so in that time, we create seasons, 12 episodes. And most of the teachers and the hosts are crafting an hour or a half an hour TV show to deliver their message, their purpose, their vision, their energy, to deliver that to the world, to share with the world opportunities or possibilities people may not have considered available.
So it's becoming like a directory, like if,
Yeah.
if I go to the site in time, maybe
Yes.
if I go to the site and I say I want to, I don't know, let me think of something. I want to remove blockages from my spine, then it's going to pull up
Right.
you and pull up different.
So
things
for
that-
example, I'm in my 4th season of presenting, and so the first season was quantum energy healing. And I'll tell you, it was really interesting to bring that up inside a format of 12 episodes. And what would that be like? And I recognized that my inner guidance said, stop worrying about all that. Figure out your 3 points you want to share to your audience, and then let the rest flow. But what I was struggling with was, how do I support everyone learning their own self-healing, their own quantum energy healing inside of themselves? Because it's very easy to make quantum energy destruction. It's very easy. And so I wanted to be very supportive for everyone to understand that. So I really discerned over those 12 episodes what's the difference between quantum energy healing and quantum energy destruction, and how do you navigate that and create that in your life. The second show was with a geneticist, and we talked about genetic consciousness. So we talked about how our consciousness literally wraps around or envelops inside the DNA.
Wow.
I know, it's really amazing. And then the third season was Hidden Superpowers. I was called to
Now, where
share
did you?
that.
Are you pulling this stuff in? What
Yeah.
you're going to do? Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, just
So
a
hidden
few weeks
superpowers.
before.
Okay.
And so Hidden Superpowers was to share with children and families and everyone on the planet their unique giftedness.
Yeah.
And to bring that in, and what does that look like? What does that mean? How is that shared orally and with languaging? How is that shared among people? What are some of the obstacles to it? And then what are some of the benefits from it and the practical applications in our everyday world?
Yeah.
And how can we use this giftedness coming forward? So for example, telepathy comes in really helpful. If our grid goes down and our Zoom acts funny like all week long, right?
Yeah.
And so how do we communicate with each other, right? We can do it through light language. We can do it through telepathy. We can do it through empathy. There's so many different ways to communicate and to share with one another really where we want to be and go in the world.
Wow. I have one question. When it comes to what they call the placebo effect, that's always fascinated me. Because I
Yes.
know everybody's experienced that, maybe not in a medical situation, but where they've had no constraints, no resistance, they didn't know you couldn't do something, right?
Right.
And then they go and do it, then everybody says, how'd you do that? That can't be done. But I mean, how does that apply in the medical field as this is evolving, with what you're doing?
I don't know. I think the medical field in those ways are still working in paradigms of evidence-based medicine and evidence-based practice. And so evidence-based can be skewed.
Yeah.
It's skewed by Planck and many other metaphysicians who have determined that what we see through consensus is what we create physically in form.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when we do that and we go into consensus, we could be in consensus in a false paradigm.
Right. I got you.
And so how do we then reality negotiate? How do we share together, coming into that consensus to create that outcome or that situation we're wanting to manifest?
This is getting interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now in regard to what you're doing, what do you, would there be training? I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but
You can use it for right now.
would it? I mean, because in all of our experiences, we've all had to deal with getting triggered,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
So, you know, and everything that goes with that. You know, we all know it's an
Right.
inside job. Do you see that as something that would be introduced and initiated in the business world, where you actually have sessions or group sessions and say, you know, how do you handle that? How do you handle that when you get triggered? You know, and you share that, and maybe somebody else has another method. Do you see that being part of it?
This is the epicenter of it.
Mm.
Thank you for
Yeah.
actually passing that over here, and you formulated it so beautifully. Is that what we're doing is we are, so yes, there's training, but I'm gonna actually reform that, just like shapeshift it just a moment. We're gonna retrain.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna untrain. We're gonna untrain.
It's like deprogram and reprogram.
Thank you.
right?
Yes, thank
Those
you.
are my wife's words.
Yes, we're going to detrain what we've been trained in and not make it wrong, but say that was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much.
It got us here, but it's not going to take us to the next level.
Right, we're in a new paradigm, and then we're in a new paradigm inside of business, and we're navigating newness. And so exponentially, we are invited to create new spaces. So with all of that, so yes, there would be, let's call it opening expansion opportunities for training in a new way,
Right.
and in a way that's not entrainment, because we were all entrained.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
Put that to the side. We're going to untrain, and we're going to put in new. So inside of being triggered, to come back to full circle here, inside of being triggered, first of all, as I become aware of what I'm even triggered about, then I can actually come to center, take the big deep breath, do particular protocols. One is the consciousness challenge releasing of this fantastic life-altering, what we call protocol or ritual, if you will, that can happen in literally, you can turn this around in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And not hang on to this for days and weeks, and then remunerate around it, and speak about it, and recruit people to talk about it, and waste a lot of time and gain energy and circle around that. So again, to get back to the center is it's all about the triggers, right? Because we're all mixing our stuff in together in a boardroom and in all of this. So we look at our triggers, we understand that they even exist.
We admit them.
We admit them. So, as it relates to, for an example, in one of my series, I'll introduce qualities and attributes of leadership. Well, great, that's not new.
No.
Yet underneath that, what's pumping the brakes? What are the triggers? What are the belief systems underneath the very quality and attribute that we would like to bring forward? We know those qualities. We'd like to become those qualities. What's the triggers, because they're multi-layered, they're packed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll invite programs around the support to even have the conscious awareness around it, and to shape shift it, to release it, and then bring something in new.
Yeah, I can see that. I can
Yes.
see where like a leader would be the most evolved, not in the sense of maintaining their balance, and also see where, because of that type of initiative, that you wouldn't really have a leader. You would have like a panel or a council, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Whereby everyone is equally
Right.
responsible, not for the task, but responsible for the giving, responsible for the care, responsible for the creation. Absolutely. That changes the relationship dynamics completely inside of team, completely inside of company, completely inside of client relationships, and again, the expansion outside of that into the marketplace is wildly important.
Wow, right on.
Yes.
And what about triggers with you? I mean, you're dealing with the like when you talked about your own situation, or the way that it was solved. You had a blockage that had taken on a physicality, it manifested. So in regard to triggers having a physical effect on the body, Is that something that would be a topic of this new way of healing, or this new type of?
Absolutely. I was awarded the opportunity and open to receiving the ability to really tune into my and exhibit and express my giftedness. And in the giftedness, I think it took about 46 years to wake up to that, really to be ready to present it to the world. And what I sense and feel the inner calling, and that's what we're bringing forward in Awake TV, is the heart of the child. And what does that mean? The heart of the child is the opportunity for that child to express its true nature, which is love. And in that love, what is those kinds of gifts? And then where do those gifts get expressed? How do they get expressed? And how can they be shared with maybe those parents and other people in society that may not know how to recognize it, understand it, facilitate it, and bring it forward?
Right.
Because when we sit here together and express our giftedness, what does everyone gain together?
Right.
Ourselves individually, us here together, and then everyone else watching this process, participating in this process,
Right.
energetically, emotionally, mentally, physically, all of it. It has the opportunity for us to embody, right, our true nature. And when we bring that together, right, then it's expressed in all these genres of society.
Yeah.
So we become healers of everything.
Yeah.
A chef is healer of food.
Yeah. True.
You know, a policeman can be a healer of what we consider justice, and we can rechange that around. A lawyer can be a healer of, I don't know, what can be in the future, contractual, or ways that we create reciprocating returns with others. We were talking very deeply about the opportunity is, how do we create the currency of, the energy flow of, the energy flow of capital, the energy flow of music, the energy flow of conversation, the energy flow of connecting. All of these ways.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. So what are the plans for, what's on the horizon for Awake TV Network?
Well, the exciting part, as we shared just a little bit, is a lot of it is the branching out, just the recent branching out. There are like 6 new branches just in this last week that are developing through.
These are different topics, different...
Yes, different topics. So kind of coming really back to what you're asking for, if I go on Awake TV and in the library, so it's really beautifully cataloged already in terms of metaphysical or environmental or health and wellness or parenting, and we're expanding inside of that. Now we're growing to, let's say, branches, if you will, and then we're going to create more support inside of these branches.
Right.
Okay, that are deeper offerings for the retraining. That makes sense.
Online events, master classes,
Yes.
unity convergences. We have 4 methodologies of working with everyone today, Saturday, through Awake TV, through multiple levels of live streaming and other opportunities where people can really share. And even when you're watching from afar, all across the globe, through the media, actually we all contribute to one another,
Right.
as if everyone is present in the room.
True. True that.
So how many people do we have watching? 10, 20, 30,000 people? They're all contributing to this collective right now inside this conversation.
True.
They're actively participating.
True.
And we're so grateful for that opportunity for all of us to recognize that relating and interrelating that we have with one another.
Just where just the name little of this soul convergence wasn't any coincidence, right? We're having this convergence of conversation. We're having this convergence of the opportunity of consciousness coming into global business, et cetera. It continues to expand, and that's the invitation that Awake TV is growing as the expansion of the awakening on the planet, of the supporting the vibrational frequency, and then bringing it into areas, facilities, that lines of business, if you will, that maybe no one's left out.
Yeah.
No segments
Well,
left out.
it's really interesting. The one thing that I'm sitting here thinking about is, so we're all kind of doing the same thing. We're all having to personally transform. We're having to have this come to Jesus meeting with the universe on a daily basis. We have these elevations, and then we find new blind spots that we didn't know existed before. We're also coming out of the wounded healer, codependent frequency, which from the heart, many of us served, but depleted ourselves. So I would think that the basic component in both the situations, which would be in all of them, would be that personal transformation. Like that would be the top priority. How do you do that? Like how do you do that / how would you approach that in terms of like if you went into a company
Yes.
and say, okay, would you say it? I mean, I don't know. Would you say, hey, first and foremost, it's all about the I am soul. It's all that thine own self be true. I've got to be at 100%. That's the best thing I can do for everyone. How would that work?
Excellent question, and there's so many aspects to this. So the first thing I would invite would be a conversation to understand what is your definition. What does that mean to you to take care of yourself first before you take care of your team? But because that sounds not very intelligent in a old paradigm, right? Where you're giving of yourself and you're giving of your team. So I would find out first. I would ask questions first to have an assessment, if you will, not a bad or good assessment, but to see where we are in terms of even just the definition of the words alone.
Yeah.
And then we are retraining why you put your oxygen mask on first before you take care of anybody else.
Right.
Not because it's
And
a
I think
cliche
too,
thing to say, but because.
And I think too, if the person that's delivering that message like you, that if that person is doing
Yes.
what they're proposing,
Yes.
then that energy is going to do something to that other person. I would think they're going to pick up on that energy.
When we're when we're so congested with what doesn't serve us and what's not ours, we're actually running up a hill. I mean, my goodness, 25 plus years, I'm in my own transformation, and I will be, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So I can speak to that inside of delivering and inside of initiating the transformational change. But yes, it is all about the personal, who's in the head of the boardroom. Is that my ego or everyone else that I believe that the role is supposed to be facilitating? Because there isn't any rule book anymore.
That's right.
There really never was, but we forced it.
Well, yeah. Now, so like, and I'm not, okay, so like, Awake TV Network is utilizing the same type of thing, right?
Yes.
So, as an example, and I'm not trying to I'm just trying to learn.
Yes.
Because I realize we're in a transition. We're all in a transition, so sometimes you gotta walk in both worlds or use a little bit of the old methods or whatever. So like, as an example, in Awake TV Network, are there contracts? Are there written agreements? Do you see that as being part of the future in terms of what you're doing?
I see, yes, we see contracts. The contracts will now be even redefined. Because what will a contract be based on? Non-trust? Contract maybe before possibly was, I don't trust you and you don't trust me, therefore we have to have something that we believe that we trust on here.
Are we gonna need it?
Correct. Are we? And I don't have that answer in the moment.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Right.
like I would imagine Awake TV Network is in transition. They're like you said. There's no playbook,
But we have agreements, and we have agreements.
Right.
Agreements that are binding because they are met in the soul space
Yes.
of what I'd like to
I get
contribute.
that. I get that. Like for instance, somebody comes in, and it's important that because you have a slot, say at 7 o'clock on Fridays, and they say, "I'll take that slot." It's important that they come every Friday,
It is important.
right? So that's not a not trusting thing. That's just
There's a sequence that
yeah.
happened here with this, or with what all you brought together. There's a sequence that happens, and as I honor your space, then I uphold an honored positioning in that.
I like this. This is very interesting. Now, in terms of what you're doing, I got to ask you about the kids. I know I asked you about it before,
Yes.
but even in regard to Awake TV Network, I mean, these kids that are coming in
Yes, they are.
are absolutely lit.
Yes, you've had many guests
I
that
know.
have shared a lot of
But
that.
I'm just saying that this is not going to be denied.
No, it's not going to
there-
be denied.
First of all, there's going to be a whole bunch of them born in December because
Right.
just like World War II babies, because everybody had to stay home,
Right.
and make whoopee,
Right.
So we're going to have this huge influx.
And there are these amazing coronials,
Right.
right?
Coronials. There you go.
Yes.
That's right. So, but I mean, what's going to happen with that? And it's the medical industry or the medical fields, well, those that are open to what you're doing, are they looking at these children? I mean, to me, it'd be almost like they're like what do you call it, an antidote.
Well, we have leaders in the medical field that are still struggling with understanding what it means. Because at least in children's hospitals around the U.S. country, since everybody's wearing a mask and social distancing and doing all these things, everyone feels safe. So you want to talk about the placebo effect.
Yeah.
So if you feel safe and you kind of take care of yourself at home and you stay home and nobody's giving you any germs, then maybe you won't get sick. And so guess what? Nobody's sick. Our hospitals are less than 50% capacity since March.
Mm.
They're operating margins because we utilize so much technology to keep someone alive, or they're way below operating margins. So they're actually having to seriously look at how do we redesign medical care.
How do we make people sick? Maybe.
Well-
I'm kidding. I'm just saying.
But I mean,
like,
that's
they're-
buried in colleagues'
Yeah.
subconscious.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that.
I said the greatest day is I get to retire when no child is born with a cardiac defect anymore.
Yeah.
And how do we do that globally
Yeah.
to support that? I recognize that children born with a cardiac defect have 100% of a spiritual discord or conflict going on.
Right.
And to support them in that process helps them heal their hearts, literally.
Yeah. Very cool.
And so in that process, where I'm focusing a lot of my work is, I agree with you, that the new children that are coming in with a complete and 100% awareness of non-separation.
Yeah.
We don't know what that looks like,
They'll be like tuning forks. You just bring them into the room and everybody gets healed, right?
right?
You know,
So they don't
there's a-
have to eradicate all the past
Yeah.
misgivings and woundings we have experienced. But the really beautiful thing that I've noticed as adults and parents and stewards and way showers for the children is that we've walked this walk.
Yeah.
We've done this transition.
Yeah.
We are moving through this transition on such high levels. And so it provides an opportunity where they're not feeling born to an alien environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I support parents and teachers and others that care for children to really look at that and really respond with respect and humble regard when they say oneness kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I have a friend who has a young 6-year-old, well, he was young, he's 8 now, he's 6 then, and he said to his very intelligent, very collegial dad, who was stern and doing this, and he said, "Dad, we are the same, I'm just in my small body." So now how do you support and structure a household where children are saying compliments like these?
Mm. Like they're having a voice is more than having a voice. Like even being part of that council.
Right.
You know? I mean, they're actually.
So how do we raise children? How do we structure children? I am so excited in a lot of ways that school has been brought to the home,
Yeah.
and we can have an opportunity to reorganize
Yeah.
ourselves and reorganize and move away from suppression and obedience
Yeah.
and move into understanding compassion and release ourselves from this concept of tolerance
Yeah.
and move into the surrender, move into acceptance, move into understanding, move into maybe other people have different perceptions, different understandings. We don't have to be subjected to the same sort of rhetoric that we've created for ourselves over the last few hundred years.
You're a bit passionate.
A
about
bit.
this.
It's amazing.
So,
It's
but you know
exciting.
what's amazing though is that it's so funny how the universe works, because there may have been certain ill intentions with quarantine, with COVID, whatever, but it's actually supported us energetically. So
Yes.
like in this example with the hospital, because I read a little bit about that. And seen a couple of videos where they're like, in Australia, they were saying, hey, nobody's coming to the hospital.
Right.
You know, and so is it that they're scared to because they're going to
Right.
give them a test that they don't know if it's reliable?
Well, and in adult hospitals, we don't even allow any family members.
That's right.
I mean, in the pediatric hospitals, we allow parents to come in.
But you know, it's like, yeah, I mean, but it, yes.
I mean, it's like you're going to the asylum.
So
And
it's,
so
yeah, so
it's
whatever
not an
the,
environment for
yeah.
healing.
Yeah, so whatever the literal reason is, the bottom line is energetically, it's crumbling.
It is.
It's, okay, so then.
We're gonna
What you
redefine it.
said, yeah, and what you said about the homeschooling.
Yes.
I mean, that's like huge because
Huge.
again, it's crumbling, but it's being reformatted at the same time. And then, of course, with businesses, like, you know, I was talking to my son the other night. His girlfriend lived in another city. She's now moved to the city where he's going to school because she doesn't have to go into an office every day, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of that going on now.
Right.
So that's, you know, kind of imploding and being reformatted at the same time too.
And so there's this dust.
Yeah.
There's rubble,
Yeah.
and what does that mean? And there's a lot of different ways it could be translated. And the opportunity in here, as one of them, could be how do we find relating and separate ourselves from what are we missing without being in here,
Yeah.
right face to face. Although I'm so appreciating this in this moment, very much so. Yet, how can we find relating, even deeper relating,
Yeah.
in a new way? We were attached to an old way that just was,
Yeah.
because that's what
That somebody told us.
someone told
This
us.
is how you.
And then we're meaning-making machines up here, and we're
Yeah.
like, that's what it is. So now I'm devoid of that. Now my world is falling apart, and that doesn't have to be the way it is.
That's right.
So we get to exercise newness inside of us and invite newness inside of us.
That's right.
And it's deeper than just doing it and adjusting. It's challenging us from the inside to separate what was and the attachment of that, and creating, likely, if we choose to, an even deeper connection of trust, an even deeper connection. So that way,
You're passionate too.
And what if deeper doesn't have to be scary? What if it can be amazing and transformational in every single day, and we don't have to talk about what's for dinner and how to do in the soccer game,
Yeah.
right? We don't have to have those kind of conversations anymore.
Yeah. We can just have playtime with the fairies and go ride the unicorns because the only reason they're not here is because we were told they're not here or they're not real. I mean, it's all the same thing. That's why I was asking about the placebo effect.
Yes.
So, yeah, excellent. You're very passionate. You're very passionate. I can't wait to meet the rest of the crew.
they're coming.
They're here.
So we're hoping to put something together Friday or Saturday or Sunday, in typical Jade and Todd style, Todd's style. It's going to be last minute, but we've got our next guest coming on. Sarah R. Adams just walked in the door. We had a great show. It was our last show before we hit the road. I got a lot of feedback on it. It was a great pleasure talking to her. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's got to say today. And thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you for being a part
Thank
of
you.
this.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Take the stage, and just a second. I'll just stick around for a second, say a quick hello. I'm going to let you have this middle chair, right? Okay. We're live?
Yep.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We've got the beautiful, beloved Sarah R. Adams with us. We had the luxury, and you can't make these things up. I mean, so you were the last show that we did at Soulogy before we hit the road. And then you're living here, and I'm coming to collaborate with Jade, and the next thing you know, we're on stage again, which is great. So you can't make that up. But we had a really great show. This would have been, what, this past Tuesday? So if anybody hasn't seen it, I'd highly recommend it. You can find it on our Facebook pages. You can find it on Soldier One Studios channel. I don't know if you've uploaded it, but it's really worth watching. It's a really good conversation. Not because I'm in it, but you know. And I'm just going to kind of go back through a couple things. I discovered you in my journey probably in 2015. I saw probably, 10 or 12 different things you were involved with. Again, there was a wealth of experience, a lot of different subjects covered. You're an ultra sensitive, multidimensional skills and abilities that have been nurtured and expanded. As we all know, we have all that, but you know, we're all at different levels. But you have such a wealth of experience. I really was excited to talk about you, talk to you about some of these subjects. Mm-hmm. And I know at the end of the show that you said the next time we get together, you wanted to talk about something. Do you remember what it was?
You know, this morning I kind of had in my head what I wanted to speak about, and then because I'm constantly like speaking to ETs and speaking to angels and different beings. And so I had it kind of set what I wanted to talk about. And then they came to me this morning and they said, listen, you need to speak about a different subject. This always happens to me, so.
Is it okay to tell us what you wanted to talk about?
I wanted to speak about just, you know, channeling, to continue on the subject of channeling the energies from, like here in Sedona, there's the 7 rays that are held in this area, and we can connect to that and we can channel it to the different cities around the world, like New York City, Chicago, different cities that have low frequencies, to channel the light and to bring the frequency back in those cities because they're void of light. Right. So we can use that to lift up the planet. So I'm very passionate about this. So are the ETs. So are.
So is this what you wanted to talk about? Yes. And they said no.
And then they said, listen. This morning they said to me, we want to connect you directly again to the spirits. So this planet is created up of multiple spirits. The mountain ranges are different spirits. So are the ocean. She's a different spirit from a different dimension. And all these spirits create this planet. And they said to me, just listen to this. And I could feel the entire planet. And they said, the reason that the ocean she's sad, she's sick, because she doesn't feel loved. The skies don't feel loved. And it's like a bad relationship. And we need to return to love and send the different spirits love. Otherwise, what's going to happen is creating such an imbalance. Wow. And love is the 5th element that controls the 4 elements. And love is the epitome of God's source, the divine itself, which tells the elements to calm and to be in symphony rather than chaos.
I like this. So in other words, like in layman's terms, let's just say, we spend time appealing directly to the God, the goddess, source, and what you're saying is, and what you're passionate about, and what the ETs are passionate about, is what composes the whole thing. These elements that compose the earth, our planet, our home, are all comprised of different spirits, like nature beings, like nature spirits, the wind, the ocean, the clouds, the sky, and to go direct with them, as opposed to the way we were taught.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And that these spirits feel and they react in the ocean. She needs us to gather around it and chant, and on the shores of the ocean, and tell her, like, send the love to her, because she will respond to that in a positive way and heal. She's like a broken woman in a way. She's a very divine energy that needs that to heal. And
when I first got to Sedona, Arizona, I went to Airport Plaza, and it's sort of around Plaza, and I was up there, and the Great Spirits came to me and they said that we're having so many issues on this planet because man has forgot his spirit, and he has forgotten the world of the spirits, and that he is spirit above this physical body.
Yeah, that's interesting you mentioned that place, because I don't usually do like grid work and ceremony. You know, there would be like personal transformation ceremonies maybe over the years, but I went to that place, and I was with a friend, and I was told, get out of the car, jump out of the car, and up on that area you were talking about, and I saw ritual abuse and a bunch of stuff that went on there, and then I was told to do this ceremony. It was a very powerful experience, and then they told me to go at the top of Airport Rock in the middle of the summer, find some water. I had found this rock that it was a child's face was painted on it.
Mm-hmm.
They said, go up to the top and find some water and bathe it in the water. So I go all the way to the top. There was one little puddle like that. It was an amazing experience, but that's a powerful place over there, isn't it?
In ancient times, you know, when we talked about on our previous show together how all the planets were inhabited, and everyone was multidimensional. They were traveling between the realms and the dimensions and the planets, and there was a cataclysm that happened that kind of threw everything out of order. So originally, you know, everyone was connected to the planets that they lived on, and they would bless the planets. So there were no deserts. Everything, when a planet is higher in frequency, it's very fertile.
Mm-hmm.
In Egypt, you know, I visited Egypt before COVID, and there was no deserts there originally. There was no deserts on these planets, or on this planet. The planet is in autopilot right now, and we are the pilots, and we've forgotten this, and we need to become the pilots again. We need to stop being in autopilot mode and become the pilots of this planet, because she listens to us, but she only listens to us when we come from our heart. And so originally these groups would gather on these different planets, and they would bless the planets, and they would speak to the planets just like you would speak to somebody that you deeply love and care for. And the planets would respond, and the spirits would respond, nature would respond, everything would respond. There was a beautiful kind of give, sharing among them. And they would make sure that the planet's frequency was up. And we have some ancient technology, by the way, on this planet, left from this ancient civilization. So within us, we have crystals. These crystals are connected to the crystals in the earth. There's crystals in the moon and crystals in each planet. And this crystalline structure, this crystal structure would pass light and then transmute mass amounts of information via it. And that's why the pyramids, they're very crystalline.
Mm-hmm.
So the pyramids, there's pyramids on each planet, and there's temples on each planet. Yeah. And so we have the temple in Venus, which I spent a lot of time on, and that's connected to the heart. Saturn is connected to time and reality, and we spoke a little bit about that. So we have these different temples, and we need to start gathering in circles again, and we need, and each planet is a projector. So when we project to it, it mirrors back 1,000 times back to us. So if we want to change our physical reality on this planet, which the elite who have fallen into, because they're very lost souls, they have fallen away from the light, away from the divine. If you want to change the timelines, what you have to do is you have to sit in the circles like they did in ancient times. You focus on Saturn. Saturn projects time and reality, and you send you open your heart, and then you send the projection you want of good timelines, and the Saturn will project that
conscious quantum creation.
Yes.
Right.
And if you want to open the hearts of everyone on this planet more and heal the heart chakra of this planet, you do the same thing to Venus.
Far out. Now, you said something really interesting on the show. I said, what do you think's going on, you know, given your experience? And again, for those who don't know, you have, in the work that you've done over the years, you've been right there in the thick of everything. And like I said, at the beginning of the last show, everything from Anunnaki to what's going on, you know, deep state, to everything in between, you know, interdimensional, dimensional, ET, and so on. But you said, I think we're in the plant medicine phase.
Yes.
Where when you take plant medicine, the the bad stuff comes up, the stuff that you don't want to see, the stuff you're unconscious of, your blind spots, whatever. So what I was wondering after we talked, there seems to be a lot of people in the light worker community, and I would include in that description the conspiracy community, what people might call that, disclosure community. I see this as all being really one community. There seems to be a lot of people struggling with the charge of, the negative charge, I guess I would say, or having a charge, a non-neutral charge from the things that are coming to the surface. Now, I wanted to ask you on a personal level, did you ever have to deal with that? Did you ever have to, did you ever get pulled into it, get disoriented, get off balance, and have to find yourself, have to find your power again, have to put those in the proper perspective? Because I think there's a lot of people that are struggling with that right now. They get pulled in, it intensifies their emotions, it clouds their judgment, and it takes them at a 0 point. Did you ever have to deal with that?
I am very blessed because I was able to travel throughout times. I remember many lifetimes. And this morning I did a post and I said I've died 1,000 times over, and I passed through fear. And I've learned that they were great teachers, because once I passed through them, I realized above that I was God itself, and God never dies. God is eternal.
That's right.
And fear is not my master, but I rather am the master, because I'm God. So I was able to learn that. So nothing now triggers me or phases me anymore. So you've got to look at that, and it's there to teach you. It's triggering these people to teach them. It's triggering them until they get sick and tired of being in that triggered state, and they seek something above that, something beyond that, which is their Christ self. Right. We must go through the purification, through the destruction, through the hardships before we understand that we are truly Christ. We're truly our own saviors, and we're truly God within a human body, and we're eternal.
You're not going to get an argument from me. It's exactly how I feel. Exactly. Now, through the years, because I know you worked with a lot of people, I know you had a relationship with Max Spears. I know you've done a lot of collaborations with a lot of people that are pretty well known in these communities. I have seen, and you watch them, and just like we can't always see our own blind spots, you can see somebody else's, but you see some of these people carrying the charge. Did you ever counsel any of those folks? Did you ever, say, hey, it's not that, don't get carried away? I mean, do they struggle?
They are struggling, but I just send them love, and I let them continue on their journey, and I don't try to change them or mess with that, because I know that they need that. That's the plant medicine stage. They need that. Once they get through it, they're going to be refined, and they're going to step into their Christ self. So I never try to change anyone. I will express and then move along. Yes, I just kind of flow and let them flow where they want to flow to.
I think another thing that's interesting about you too, given the company that you've kept, because as we were waking up, 2012, 13, 14, 15, these were very much in the minority. They were very
hard.
Right? And,
it was hard.
And so there was a lot of adamancy. There was a lot of, it's got to be this way. You need to understand it's this way. You got to do this. You have to do that. That's a bad person. That's a good person. I mean, there was these absolutes being thrown down. You don't have a lot of that, and I think it's the reason you don't is for what you just said. Are you seeing more people coming to the space that you're holding that have been in the trenches, in these, on these platforms over the years?
Let me say, it was really hard when I first started this. I think that I was a lot younger then, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was, people were like, oh, you're saying that there's abusers, abuse going on with children and this, and back then nobody even thought about those things, and now it's public. And it was hard to come out and say that, but I have this thing, since I'm connected, since I'm in God consciousness. When you're in God consciousness, you feel everything around the world. You feel everything, and you feel what's happening with the children. You feel what's happening with the animals. What's happening everywhere, and you can't but have compassion and love for that. And also, when you're in God consciousness, you are a giver, and so you just want to give the love, and you want to help heal, and this is the thing. So I was in that, and it was really interesting back then to now, of which I think it was harder for me because I hadn't put the physical together with the spiritual, and I have a lot more knowledge and information now.
Right.
I'm much more refined now, and I understand it more, and I have compassion even on the darkest of deeds that people do, because I understand that they're doing those deeds because they got lost.
Yeah.
They're lost in these bodies. They're lost on this planet, in this world, and they've been through a lot of suffering. And a person who is doing terrible things has suffered terrible things. So they're just hurt and harmed and scared
Yeah.
people, and they deserve healing. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what dark deed they've done. And above the physical life, I know that, you know, in the realms of the spirits, many people come to me, their higher selves, and say, you know what, our physical self is lost. Our
Yeah.
physical body, our physical incarnation is lost, and they understand that what they're doing is wrong, and they understand when they've done wrong, and they understand that they need to return to unconditional love. So there's that split of the spirit and the physical body,
Yeah.
and that's some of the work that I'm doing, is trying to unite that.
Is there, or what is the difference between like the soul consciousness and then the human consciousness? Is the human consciousness is real, isn't it? I mean, is it? How does that work?
So when we're conceived into a physical body, because we're being conceived into tech that already has all of the karma, all of the trauma from our parents, when we go into when the soul goes to go into the body at conception, what happens is that it gets scared because it's love. It gets scared because of all the trauma in the physical body. So it only merges 20%. A lot of people are not fully merged into their bodies.
The soul merges 20%
Yes.
into the body.
Yes.
Okay.
So the work I do is to merge the person, their soul, entire soul, into their body,
So
or
you're-
that energy into their body. So then they wake up and they realize just that they're God, that they're
Yeah.
Christ, that they're their
Yeah.
own saviors. Yes.
Right.
And that's the problem we have, is that we have people walking around with only a part of their soul merged into their body.
So if just a part of the soul's merged into the body, who's running the show? The ego? The human consciousness? Is that two different things?
When there's only a part of the soul merged into the body, also the body is functioning at a lower frequency.
Right.
So then it's also it goes into fight or flight mode. So these physical bodies that we have are actually ancient tech, and I would say they're some of the bodies that were created the most recently. When the other planets were inhabited, they were creating different bodies, and they were doing it in a really, very good manner. They were creating aquatic bodies and different bodies for the souls to go into. And this is where we need to understand that above the different colors of our skin, and above the different views and stuff we have in these 3D physical bodies, we're God energy, we're soul. And when we take these off, we're all that. And
Yeah.
we're all one.
Well,
And so,
it almost sounds like I love that explanation, almost like the bodies are an organic AI.
well, they were created for the physical incarnation, to have
Yeah.
a physical experience, because if
Yeah.
you only stayed in the realm of the soul all the time, that might become a bit boring. So
That's
it's
what
for
I said.
experience.
Yeah, I'm the first one down here.
So,
Everyone says, I'm not coming back. I'm like, I'm coming.
so
I want to go back to what you said earlier, because I want to make sure that I give you your due on that, because I know it's a very important topic for you. And I just want to kind of restate it like this. I've been in these communities for 9 years, and I've gotten around a little bit, and I haven't heard anybody say what you said, other than maybe a Native American prayer or something in that regard. If you could tell anybody right now from this point forward, and we all know things can change, but as things stand right now, is there anything that is, other than your own internal work, your own internal alignments and that type of thing, is there anything more important than, in your opinion, than connecting with the wind and the sky and the earth and the oceans and doing what you said earlier?
shut off your TV. It's always a good one. When we walk in the wind, the wind gives us its power.
Mm-hmm.
And when we bathe in the ocean, she gives us her power. Each element gives us a power. And then this power, it gives us willingly when we come with love. And then we understand that we need all these elements within us to be connected to all.
Yeah.
So this is something that's quite important to me. I would say that the biggest message for people would be to absolutely, today, would be to, because I know we talk about, and meditations are great, and so are, doing spiritual practices, but you have to make sure your body is cleansed of heavy metals, because heavy metals they're in chemtrails, they're in our food, they're in beauty products, and they're getting into our body, and they're connecting us up to the satellite system, to the
Right.
Wi-Fi, and directly connecting us into the lower realms.
Right.
So before we can really move ahead, we need to understand how our physical body works, because when you bring in the energy, you want the cell, which is like the solar panel, to hold that energy, but if it's bogged down with heavy metals, then it can't hold that energy. So you can meditate for hours, but you will not be able to contain that energy within your body.
Yeah. That's why I love cilantro.
Yes. So I would look into heavy metal detoxing to
Yeah.
disconnect from the AI system, which is the lower fallen matrix system
Right.
on this planet.
Yeah. On that, okay, so like in regard to the nanotechnology, that stuff that you're talking about, which you described perfectly, can that be, I know you can have a detox, you can have certain habits, lifestyle choices that will do what you're talking about. Can these things be addressed energetically? Can we address them by addressing our DNA, by working with our future self, by working with our monadic family and different types of things like that? Can it be done in more of a non-physical way? I'm not advocating one or the other. I'm just asking you, can that be done from the power of our imagination, from the power of our ability to connect to infinite intelligence?
Yes, that can be done. And a long time ago, we didn't even eat food.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. And we would absorb energy. And we had portals that would just channel this energy into us.
Mm.
But for now, I think, because I am speaking to people who are just waking up.
Yes.
And I think the physical steps is to physically understand how their body works and what they should remove from their body, the toxins. And I like taking care of the thought forms and also the body and then the energy field. Those are the three things.
Okay, so you got the thought forms. What would that be? Just being conscious of what's coming in, what you carry forward, what loops you let play.
Yes.
Okay. And then what was the second one?
So we had body. Which
Okay,
is,
the body. Well, that
yes,
makes sense. It's the physical part. Okay. And then what about the third one was what?
that would be
the
the
field.
energy field.
Okay, so that would be more of our layer. Okay, like our torus.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you strengthen that? How do you fortify that field?
Oh, so I do this meditation where I go back to conception and I help the soul to come all the way in. And because what I do is I go through the body, emotional body. And so each organ, have you ever been to Europe and you see the beautiful cathedrals with the organ in it? Well, if you look at symbolism, Jesus said, I am the temple. Our bodies are the temple. The organs, just like the organ in a church, they project our reality. So, and if a key of the organ is off in that church, what happens? The whole symphony is off. So if one of our organs is off because it's holding too many negative emotions,
Right.
or too much trauma or too much past life stuff, it's going to create a lower a frequency, which is going to make a mess in our lives in a way. So by going within and clearing I speak to the different organs, because I can speak to cells and organs, and I speak to plants and animals. So I talk to the organs, and then I connect to them, and we clear them of all the all the ancestors of all the emotions that are stuck in them. We go through that. So once we clear the body and make the body a happy place, then the soul happily comes in and merges, and then the person remembers that they're Christ.
So as more of those three things are brought into alignment, or cleared, or healed, or whatever word you want to use, then as a natural
wholeness.
sequence, the soul will step in more.
Yes,
So
happily.
the soul's
Yes.
going to step in more when there's a conscious effort made from this consciousness.
You're
which
going to
is-
go to people who love you and are kind to you more than people who
Yeah,
aren't, right?
yeah,
This
exactly.
is the same thing. It's going to
Yeah.
go to a body that's cleansed and clear and happy,
Yeah.
and it'll happily go in there.
There's been a lot of talk about walk-ins, okay, and even more so in the last, I want to say 3 or 4 months. It's almost like we're having walk-in after walk-in after walk-in, like more of our. But I think the way you explain it to me actually is easier to understand, in that a certain percentage of your soul, 20% or so, comes in when you're at conception, and as you're clearing and going into alignment, more of it comes in. Are those two one and the same, or do you consider a walk-in separate?
I would consider some of it the same and some of it not,
Okay.
because some souls just want to leave to other dimensions or other planets, and there's a lot of other galaxies out there, so they decide that this incarnation is a bit too overwhelming, or maybe it's just boring, and they decide to go somewhere
Here
else.
it's boring?
So they decide to go off to
Yeah.
off somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I think what you're going to see is a lot of people stemming up who have discovered that they have superpowers.
Yeah.
Because when you do step into Christ consciousness, you achieve, like I said, you have power over the elements, because the elements willingly allow this, because you're coming from unconditional love.
Yeah.
So they willingly say, we will
Yeah.
do what you instruct. So I think that right now, with our polluted oceans and a lot of sick people on this planet and the polluted skies, that people are going to start waking up to that Christ consciousness and understand that they can sit under that sky and tell it to heal, and it will willingly heal.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you probably don't have to ask you this, but just for the sake of the clarity for the audience, can I heal myself instantaneously?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's the case, what you're saying is the same thing. We, one or more, two or more, whatever, could heal at least a region or a portion, if not ultimately the whole sky, the whole ocean, virtually instantaneously.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think that's a good thing too that you're bringing up, because I hear people say this to me all the time. They'll say, "This is going to take 5 years. This is going to take 7 years." I'm like, going, it just doesn't ever jive with me, because we are supernatural, and because we can convert things, alchemize things instantaneously. Why wouldn't it, as within, without? So I think it's important to remember. We think, it's taken so long to get here, and it's going to take so long to fix. But it really doesn't have to be that way.
No.
We're in a quantum field now,
Exactly.
a conscious quantum field.
And we also have power over time. And
Yeah.
this is why you see the elite do a lot of rituals, or what you would call, and I know this is a heavier subject, satanic rituals, but Satan is connected to the planet Saturn. So what they're doing is they're sending all this energy to Saturn that projects back the reality that they want. We have the same ability to do so.
Yeah.
Saturn is a neutral planet.
Yeah.
And it will project back the realities that we send to it. So we need to start getting control of this, and
Yeah.
we need to understand how the planets work, how the tech we're in works, and
Yeah.
how our soul works,
Yeah.
and how to merge all of these things.
It's a good point. Saturn got a bad rap, didn't
Yes.
it? It really wasn't. It was just the vehicle. It was the vehicle. It wasn't the source of the problem.
True.
Right.
Yes,
Far
yes.
out, man. Excellent conversation. Anybody have any questions? Anybody? I can keep going all night long. No problem.
Yeah, you got a few minutes to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we still got about 10 minutes, 8 minutes. So, so is there anything that you want to do? I don't know what you do. Activations, light language, fly up in the air. I always have that vision where, I used to have this vision all the time where I don't know why, because I haven't had that many issues with the legal system, maybe. But I'd always have this visualization that I'd be sitting at the chair in the courtroom, being, unfairly judged by the law, and I would rise out of my chair like Christ, and I would look at the judge and say, "Soulogy, man, I'm soul." So what's like the most far out experiences that you've had? I know you're more ET than you are human, or you're whatever you want to put it, more advanced or whatever. But Is there anything that you've gone through that you just went, whoa?
But all of us are ETs, and we've had
I
many
know.
ET bodies.
True.
And like I said, above that, we're God
Yeah.
consciousness, so it's quite beautiful. So
Yeah.
we've worn a lot of these different
Yeah.
bodies. Sometimes aquatic, sometimes Pleiadian,
Yeah.
sometimes Arcturian. I think people get caught up thinking they were just Arcturian or
I
this
agree
or
with
that.
you. I agree
They've
with
been
you.
many different beings.
I totally agree with you. That's right. It's the whole thing.
That's-
My wife always says, why would you want to limit yourself?
Exactly. But
But I mean, like,
I've had some. I mean, nothing to. I remember back 2 billion years.
yeah,
So I remember living on Mars and staying
Yeah.
on Venus and other dimensions.
Right
So
on.
it's not.
yeah. So you're human.
Nothing is extraordinarily
Your human aspect.
different.
Yeah, your human aspect is like another day at the office.
I
Right?
did have one time where it was in Victorian times that I was in another body in a Victorian time, and I actually almost stayed there before jumping back here. I was living lives simultaneously, so I was 5 different lifetimes
Wow.
simultaneously, and I was going through each body that I was living.
Wow.
Yes.
What about the thought that when we bring ourselves into alignment, that we are also bringing into alignment past, present, future, parallel?
Yes.
So, like for instance, like in that you had a Victorian life. Let's say that life had a certain timeline. You hit a higher level of alignment here in this moment. Does it change the past?
So there is no past or future.
Right.
There only is. And I have noticed I can download information from other planets, other lifetimes. I can also download abilities from what you would call the future, which is actually the now, or from the past of other lifetimes.
Right.
So I was able to go in and download information and then put it together, and that's where I got a lot of information about the pyramids and the Stonehenge and all the sacred technology that the governments around this planet are trying to decode right now, because they are aware that they can tap into other dimensions. And this is all ancient technology
Right.
that is only activated via frequency. So when we gather and we bring our frequency up, then the pyramids will activate, then this ancient system will activate and allow us to be multidimensional again.
Right on.
So that's some more stuff we'll have to talk about in the future.
We need to. Yeah, this is mainstream. This is going mainstream, do or die. You know, this is what needs to happen, and it's happening. Do you feel like we're making good progress? I know you feel like we're in the plant medicine stage, but do you think that there's a strong minority that's congealing and coalescing that is having a greater influence on the overall collective?
Once I was asked the question, why did you incarnate onto this timeline? And I said, if you could see, if you watched Planet for a long time, and you went in and out of it, if you could, you would want to experience the awakening of humanity, and that's
Yeah.
this timeline, this life, this body that I'm in.
Yeah,
The awakening is happening in
that's
this
right.
time.
It's the big
Yes.
party, man. It's the big gala. Coming down the promenade apocalyptic where the mystic says the veil's been lifted, right? What a pleasure. What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
I
having
look forward
me here.
to collaborating with you again and again and again. We're going to be at the Sedona Bar and Grill tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. You're invited.
Thank you. I'll
Yeah,
come.
there's going to be a bunch of people there. We'll be streaming, since they won't be able to do any recordings because we'll be so loud. But yeah, so okay, we're heading into Margot, right?
Yeah.
And
Take a quick, 2-minute intermission.
okay, and I'm good, right?
All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining again. We've got such amazing souls here in this room and watching us, and we're doing so much work in the collective. And so we're going to do a very quick 15 minutes light language activation. So if you are with us, I invite you to find your space. Find your space sitting comfortably. Bring yourself in the center of your heart. What is light language? We are going to connect with the light within and without yourself, the universal light. And through this light that you are going to channel, you are going to heal the world, within and without. Through this light language, you are giving codes for the entire collective. There's nothing to fear. We're going to let the mind talk. Whatever the mind wants to say, it will say. We open the heart. We allow ourselves to trust. We free flow this vibration. We free flow this light vibration moving through us. And we allow ourselves to tap into the divine. We allow ourselves to tap into the universal light, healing vibration. Closing your eyes. Tapping into this moment right here, right now in your heart. I will be starting the light language engaging with you, allowing you to feel this vibration within your body. We're not here to understand with the mind, we're here to feel with the heart. Allow yourself to trust. Whatever will come through, and it is perfect. All the sounds, all the noises, they are all light language. It should be sounding anything. It is just what it is at this moment. Sikar tutun kurna payati. Ni surun kurun kuwakai di nga. Ni surun ayi di na karanga kia karurush di paranakia. Ni sar ay kurna kara ayush na krapai. Sira na kara di kurna di pana ay. Sururu kwa kaya rana ni di urna tiur. Sai ayu karna ka ay. Drop into your heart. Open your throat. Respond to me. Let all the sounds come out. Any sounds that want to come out are perfect. Ayu kurna karana kaitir na kayo shtushna parna paya pupuya. Ati karana karatitishna. Sira na karana koy shushwash antiam para paya payati. Si karana kurna kapayu rana karana yititis. Hayu kurna kapaya niara na yuru urr. Saya. Tiene karana katititushna kaya purta dia. Singaruru rayu kiaru. Singaruru yau. Singaruru kiara na umau. Te umau. Te umau. Te umau ne wawa kiau. Singaruru akiau. Singaruru akiau. Singaruru akiau andeu bayu. Se akuawa iau. Tiriri ayu. Tiriri ayu. Tiriri ayu. Te awana. Te awana. Dia wana hea hea kwa. Dia wana kea kwa kwa. Dia wana kea kwa kwa. Dia wana kwa kwa. Drop into the space. In pure presence of your heart, right here, right now, you are whole. You are awakened. You are perfection. Allow the vibrations of light sink into your body, into every cell of your being, recovering your DNA, recovering your higher self, your light body, your Merkaba. You are here to awaken, my child. You're here to speak your truth. You're here to speak your truth. You're here to speak your truth. Let's dive back into it. Ai karana karati purte ni ashamniu. Katia sana paya tia. Ni arurur tiara na karabaya pashu. Tiara na. Pura na kiasha na tiara na kaya kushta. Susu te tia para na cara na ketiti susu rutuma. Tiara na. Drop into your space again. Come back into your heart. Ayukur na ketiti sana karati etiosha. Kai karatiti turno pampa yutu tuasa na karana ketiti. Tirna katisha na kurna katatisha. Aya karatiti tutush na para tia kurna pati pashur. Tia. Uy karana kiara. Let it out, let it out, let it out. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Ayu. Nia. Tu sukurna kapaya payantia. Trust in yourself. Trust in yourself. Trust in yourself. Dropping back into your space, letting the vibration sink into your body. Focus on your third eye, let your crown open. Let yourself channel the light within. Trust in the process. You are infinitely guided in this process. You are universe. You are infinite. Good job. That was easy. So this is a practice you can do every day. Every day find yourself in your own sacred space. Tap into your voice. Tap into your being. Practice your voice. Your voice is your tool. Through your voice, you heal the world and yourself. Every day, speak the light language. Let the sound whatever it is wants to come out, will come out. Practice, practice, practice. Let this vibration heal every cell of your being and bring you back to the presence of the now, to the multidimensional presence of the now. How are we in time? I'm pretty much done. Yeah, okay, great. So if you want to learn more about this, you can find me on margasamadi.com. And there's many other healers in this room that already shared their medicine. And that's the beauty about this collective awakening, is that we are remembering that we all have this very specific gift attached to our individual self. And that we're here to collaborate in unity. And we're coming back as a community. We're coming back as a one-star family. We are in this together. And we shall always remember every day, whenever we receive the vibrations that are different to our own universal vibration, whenever we feel any kind of emotions coming through, let us remember it is moving through. It is moving through. It is moving through. And I can alchemize it. I can remember love. I can remember presence. I can remember stillness. You are an alchemist. You are a magician. You are in full control of your reality. Blessings. Okay.
We still rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Margot, thank you very much. So we're going to go into our last segment, right?
Yeah, we can, if you want to talk for a few minutes, we can get things set for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You want me to talk for a few minutes? I can do that.
Yeah, you never had any problem talking.
So, yeah, what a powerful evening, man. So cool. I think there's a lot more energies present in here than the physical human hybrid souls that are in the visible light spectrum. I think there's teams and teams of our higher aspects here. So we're gonna conclude this in a few minutes for about the next hour. Every week, I believe every week, right?
We had been doing it every week, but now we're doing a live streaming every week. So
Okay.
And it'll be on the Vibrational Empowerment Network every week, at least once a week.
It's Sedona Sonic Alchemy.
Sedona Sonic Alchemy.
Sedona Sonic Alchemy. I went to one of the first ones, I think. Where was it?
It was here.
It was here, wasn't
Right
it?
here, this thing.
That's right. It was right here. God, I've been here a lot. There's always something going on here. Yeah, and so there's a variety of instruments. I think it's all pretty much improvisational, right?
Yes.
It's all spontaneous, intuitive, creative. And I've come to them live here. They've been really, really good, really powerful. And then, of course, she says that they're doing them every week now online. So if you haven't checked that out, you can find that at Vibrational Empowerment Network Facebook page or vibrationalempowerment.net. And as with all these folks that have been here, please visit their pages, give them a like, subscribe. If you need a session, there's plenty of people here that offer those things. I saw that Jade was putting up everybody's links. And so those should be able to access them. Is everybody leaving?
No, we're getting a few people situated with some yoga mats.
Oh, I got you.
For the next,
Okay. I
the
just
next
wanted to say goodbye if they were.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So everybody's getting situated. We had a pretty good crowd. I saw on the main page there was over 100 people. I'm sure there must have been a pretty good number on the other ones. We're looking forward to doing a lot more collaborations in the Sedona community and otherwise, and certainly with Ty and Jade and their whole crew. There's a lot of people moving to Sedona. And there's a lot of people come to Sedona the last few days too, which is really interesting. Let me just say again too, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Sedona time, the old Sedona Bar and Grill. I saw a lot of response from the post I put up. I think there's gonna be a lot of people there. And quite conveniently, Jade and Ty's offices are right next door in the same parking lot. Never know what might happen. Never know what could happen. Good energy. Very good energy. Tell me when you're ready. You still got.
Yeah, we can go ahead and cut you if you want.
That's fine. Whatever you want to do. I just realized who Ty reminds me of. Do you know who the band is, right?
The band?
Yeah. You remind me of Garth. He's one of the greatest musicians I've ever heard. He's incredible. I just listened to Atlantic City live And he's playing that harpsichord?
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut volume, so if you wanna stay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very, very much for letting me participate. Till the next time, we'll see you tomorrow with some live streaming. We're going to cut away to Sedona's Sonic Alchemy now.
We'll be on in about 2 minutes.
We'll be on in 2 minutes, so don't run off. It'll be well worth the wait. Thank you very much.
Sedona, Seyo Eyawani, Sonme Yedo Wami, Wedo Wami, Sino Wami. Sing da do re ya do re da do re ya wani. Sing da do re do re do re ya wai wai. Soon we kau. Nia te kau so tayo. Ti kai patayos na. Te kai ko. Esay ko kai. Ay sanay auka. Saku de mo ati kai. Susika kwa guandia tia kaina. Sit. Agua na e tia kau. Sika guatiana. Se tia canto tia. Tia saka ayu. Nia karana kau pai. Sa. Hey,
Coming back into your breath. Using your breath as your guiding line. Deep, profound breathing. Awakening your body. Wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. Gentle movement. Rolling your wrists and ankles. For those who are watching, if you're laying down, you can bring your arms overhead. Give yourself a long stretch. Like you're waking up in the morning. Again, roll yourself on the right side for a moment, cradling in a fetus position. Let yourself bathe here in the arms of the mother. Keep your eyes closed for a moment. Feel yourself being in her womb. Feel her love. Feel her nurture. And give thanks. Give thanks for this life. Give thanks for your heart. Give thanks for your ability to be here, to witness, to see, to feel, to touch, to smell. This experience. And remember in this moment that you're loved. You are provided for. Everything is provided for. So you can relax. You can let go. Deep breath in. And let it out. Slowly make your way to a seat. Long spine. Let the energies of this vibration, this sound healing, soak in every cell of your body. Let them align through every single parts of your body. Deep breath in together. Open your mouth and let it out. 2 more. Deep breath in. Open your mouth, let it out. Deep breath in. Good job, everyone. Let's bring our hands together. Maybe my team wants to join me. We're going to do a final Om. Here. Okay. So hands together, prayer position in front of the heart. Your thumbs are touching your chest. You want to keep the connection here. Feel your heartbeat at this moment. Feel yourself connecting to the frequency of love. Acknowledging every single human being and any living thing in this reality, in this room, in your room, wherever you find yourself, and sending it love into this world, to the earth, to the sacred waters and the fires. As we heal together, we remember why we're here. Awakening together, coming back to love. Let's breathe in together and breathe out. And inhale to Om. Two more. Breathe in.
kindness to the world. Deep breath in. Beautiful. I think we're good. Thank you all so much for joining Soul Convergence. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe we want to have one last word from someone.
Yeah, we're gonna have one other special guest that just showed up in the studio, so we're gonna have him kind of bring the energy back a little bit. And so, Julian, yeah, there you go. Can we go here? And feel free to introduce yourself too, and let everybody know where they can find you. Right here.
Thank you.